Okay, so I would like to welcome everyone on the third official Nx Meetup. And of course, a lot of thank you to everyone that comes to this meetup again with the huge rain that we are having today. As you can see, for the first time, we have 4 speakers, and this is not because we have 4 prelections, it's because of that we have, for the first time, duo on the stage. The duo will be the Linus team from the hackathon on the Google Developer Groups that we had like 3 weeks ago. They scored on the 2nd place, very good result. And our opening talk will be from Vadim. And at the beginning, I would like to thank you, of course. Okay, clapping. The clapping is good. Clapping is good. So a little bit of the schedule. The Vadim will go first. Then we will have some coffee break. You can go and buy some coffee at the bar. Then we got the duo team, Jakub and Ihor. They will be telling us about their journey of the biggest hackathon in the Wrocław, or even one of the biggest in the world. And until we have Przemysław Nowak. He will show you a little bit of ADHD energy, so same as do I, and show you extremely good usage of NX in the architecture projects. Of course, big thanks to our main and only sponsor, PushBased. Thanks to company we are working together with Shimon. Shimon is a little bit hidden inside because he's controlling stream, so you can't see him, but he's there, you can believe me. Because of the great company PushBased, all of us can be here and drink a coffee for free. So coming back to the talks, I would like to welcome on the stage Vadim. Big applause to Vadim. He will be speaking about agentic experience in NX based on end-to-end testing. Please try your computer and...
Okay. Hello. Welcome. So recently I was planning to visit some local meetup in Wrocław. And while I was dressing up and so on, my girlfriend asked me like, hey, where are you going? And I reply like, I plan to go visit some local tech meetup. And basically I was a bit of annoyed by this, not even like that. She asked me like, what is the topic of this tech meetup? And I was a little bit annoyed about that because, like, isn't this obvious? Isn't it obvious that it will be related the agents and AI stuff? Because, like, nowadays everyone talking about that because it is the main topic, and like agents will stay with us. So today I want to talk about where we are with agent, trying to combine it into one term. Speak about how Nx can help us with that, and some practical example of demo for that, for one of my case for production level. But first, a few words about me. I'm Vadim. I'm working as front-end engineer. For the last 8 years, I'm getting paid for that. For the last 5 years, I work closely with Nx framework in the company called Software Service and Innovation, where I'm integrated in companies that doing the vehicle distribution in Europe. So basically enjoying Nx every day for the last five years. What else? Let's go to the more fun stuff. Agentic experience in Nx. an end-to-end automation case study. Basically, I went to this topic to talk about agentic experience and combining in this term combining the words that we have right now in community, like agentic engineering, harness engineering, and a lot of different other stuff. But what I like about agentic experience that it is combined and kind of neutralize all of the side effects of different words and combining it into one. So let's go. Let's go first with the agentic experience. I will go here from some analogies that we know already. And first, it is the user experience, how user behave and how we can improve user behavior. Developer experience, how well are tools structured for developers. And right now, nowadays, for last year and so on, it continues, we have some way of covering our environments for the agent. If we go for some closer example, like UX, it is how person feel using your product, touches, screen, behavior. Developer experience, it is how easily developer can understand your project and work with tool with that. So basically designed for developers and UX designed for the end user. And IX, agentic experience, basically mean that how well we create environment for the agent so they work autonomously. So basically we are designing our environment for the agent. Some diagram to display how currently everything look like. So human gives some intention and expect some outcome. After that, we preparing some context for the agent. Basically, we creating with many different technique. For example, the roles, the system prompt for the agent, some documentation example, some general styles for it, some access to the real world through the MCP, memory, and some verification retry loops. After we combine everything together, we call it nowadays it's as a context engineering. So basically, with different technique, we're combining the stuff all together into one. After that, we are putting this to the agent runtime, and basically, what agent take. Start reasoning about that, perceive, plan, act, verify, then loop it again if something is wrong, and basically, in the end, giving us the result which we planned as an outcome. Basically, we are all doing this nowadays every time, so it is just to have something and keep in mind. So where it leaves us? It leaves us that we are starting like an orchestrator for the agent, like a middle manager for the agents. And it is kind of funny phrase from the Oppenheimer, destroyer of the worlds. And now we become the orchestrator of the agents. How it is. In general, everyone understands what is, in some way, what is agentic experience. But question today, like how and which tool can help us here. Today we are talking about the Nx and how Nx could help us on that and basically simplify our lives. So first, a few points what I mean by agentic experience right now. Content engineering, code-based quality constraint, which mean how much agent could look up. Some tools, what agent could access, layered verification, feedback loops based on what if something goes wrong and how agent will fix himself, and parallelism orchestration, basically when we try to scale our agent, when there is become a lot more agent, more project, more products, how we can combine it into everyone. Right now, Nx propose certain ways how they already solve these problems or how they plan to solve it. Small size of the text here mentioning that I stole this slide from presentation of Yuri and Victor from Nx team. I recommend you to check their slide and watch that webinar from basically the main creator of Nx. So what are they suggesting? For content engineering, Nx have a project graph and like a project graph group of commands that allow agent to see to see the project structure, to see the feature structure, to see how much deep agent could go and set some restriction, which is slowly going to the second point, like code-based quality constraint. Nx could set up your way how you can scale some of the approaches that you're doing inside of the team. For example, how to create a library, how to create the feature, how to create different apps. And in the point when you scale up your team, there is problems that start raising up, and you need to create some kind of one approach into that. So here Nx fixing that for you. Created tools for abstract complexity. Instead of writing multiple configs and multiple paths to some files, some rules to your agent, Nx could cover it for you, where you could just write like with simple command, hide this all of the abstraction, and Nx under the hood will just work with your script that you defined before. But in some way, we encapsulate a lot of logic, and we could scale up, push it to the CI pipeline, and so on. Next is layered verification and feedback loops. Nx have great tooling on cloud for Nx self-healing CI, and so on. For parallelism or orchestration, basically Nx pushed a new tool recently, which called Nx Polygraph, and it helps us to work more with a different kind of products, with different repository, better to say, and help agent to work across products. You would probably say, probably think about that, and also like I'm thinking about every day, like with the rise of a lot of agent stuff and so on, token price is not decreasing. And for that, I would say, just to quote Peter, a lion doesn't concern itself with the token counting. We wouldn't concern about that because I think it will resolve soon, and I don't believe that agent will leave us any soon, to be frankly. Next slide is more, I just stole it somewhere. It is just to show you how much we could talk about, how much agentic experience have under hood, but it is not today a topic of the meeting because there is just so much stuff to talk on. It is something that you that stay with you after the meeting. What I wanted to talk about today, it is about the automating of automation tests end-to-end. First, what is end-to-end? End-to-end, it is special type of testing where we simulating user behavior on your application. So if on the high level we write script, we run each step that user could, how can user work with your feature, and then doing some regression, some feature change, we just ran this end-to-end test and see the result. If we broke some cases or we not, or what's about the edge cases, and so on. And to be frankly, I'm not so big of a fan of end-to-end tests. Like for me, they were always very boring. Like when somebody was asking me to do that, or when I have some task to do, I was hamster on the beginning, but inside me was a hamster on the background because I hate end-to-end tests. It was always boring for me, even that there is some funny part of that where you can apply some really good impact on the team level. Basically around December, as you all know, we have released, Cloud was released Opus, and I think it was a game changer because a lot of stuff was start working from the first run of some prompts and so on. So I wanted to show you some thoughts process, what I have inside my team. For example, we will start with how we were writing end-to-end test. First, front-end part of the feature was ready. We move it to the test phase. We test it manually. Then we write some kind of test cases. For example, we have as the Fire test cases. The Fire is some kind of plugin or library in Atlassian Jira. So basically, we write like a step. We write some test data and write the outcome with the text, with the plain text. After we finish it, we verify that, for example, with the product owners, that everything is all right. And then we continue with the Playwright. Playwright, it is the framework for working with the end-to-end test. So yeah, after we finish that, basically we understand that we finished our feature, we write tests, and could move forward. What I understand with agents that it's time to simplify stuff. First of all, I find like writing just directly to the agent what you wanted to do with some examples. It's kind of could be very slow and it's not scalable. So first part, and also not, it haven't high % chances of succeed from the first prompt, I would say. And I found a way that we can have a feature documentation for the agent. Basically, what Nx allow you, it is create some strict library boundaries. And for example, Nx and also the agent could know what this feature about. But if you run this test again and again, it will be in the new chat. It will be again and again basically spend tokens and basically get its context. But if we create one feature documentation for that one time after, for example, feature development, agent will always have understanding what this feature about. Of course, it is also made with some additional prompt where you could combine stuff and so on, but nevertheless. Next, we have the test phase manual one. The Fire test cases, I see a potential where we could also use some prompt, skill instruction, or whatever, and basically have well-written test case. Then after that, on the Playwright step, basically we are combining everything together. We combine the agent with the feature documentation. We combine, I wrote MCP, the Fire test cases, because, for example, the Fire test cases at the time when I was doing this presentation hadn't MCP of their API. So basically, we needed to create it on our own. And some additional examples, some general prompt command that combined everything together. And in the end, I get really good result, to be frankly. I was really surprised with the result because it wasn't like 20 or 30% of increase of speed. It was around 70, 80 for new test cases, for new feature development, for new end-to-end feature development. And in the beginning, I wasn't telling my team about that because I was not sure, like, if agents stole my job, like if I previously spent on that like 10 hours and now I spend 3 hours, should I tell it immediately or should I think about like how I can improve that before that, or what should I do? But basically, what Homelander, I use this Homelander GIF because as I haven't tell my team about that, I get really good feedback from them, like, hey, your test quality, it's really good. Like, hey, you have a really good code style. And I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, and then question raised me. After some iteration, I, of course, share it with the team. I gave it to one of the engineers to test it while he was working on that. And I get some really good feedback on that. And I understand that, OK, I was working on that. I gave it to the other engineer. And basically, we're still on the way where we manually putting prompts and waiting for result. But it's not scale. It's not scale for an organization level. And it's still, if everybody will be doing even the same command, it will have the different result. And I will start wondering how I can improve that, how can I scale it. So as we have Nx, I will start raising questions like how can I use Nx to benefit me with that. And my basically demo will be about that. First, few stuff just to be on the same page, as everyone could have different background on that. What we need to know? We need to know about Nx, which probably you all know something about. Nx generator. It is like a special, we could create special command via Nx where we type something like Nx generate and some name of the command. And basically under the hood, we write a script what this command will do. In our case, what I will show you, I combining some prompts, do some verification level, and basically have the outcome of the result. I use Angular application, Angular framework for the front end. I'm using Cloud Code CLI, MCP. For those who don't know about that, MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, and basically it is how agent could talk to your API. For example, in case of the fire test cases, they have some open public API, and basically with MCP, with this open protocol, we could combine it into kind of like one small application where an agent could just go and ask something, some data. Playwright MCP server, it is a special MCP server for Playwright. Basically, it allows agent, for example, open browser, check visually some stuff, click something and see the result. Playwright, it is an end-to-end test framework, and some static gates where I'm just checking some links and so on, just so you're aware. Okay, so demo slides. It will be hard. Can I make screen mirroring?
If you can make screen mirroring?
Yeah.
I think yes.
Can you show me? Or will,
you can do it on your... Go to displays.
Yeah, display screen mirroring.
Settings and click this one.
Oh, mirror.
Yeah, we can try.
Yep, nice. Thank you. Okay. So first, I open a few tabs and go to some terminal application app. So first, I run already application, and I wanted to show you how it looks like, just to be aware and be on the same page. Okay, nice. So we have two tabs, invoices and settings, where we could cover some permission for our user. We have a list of invoices with a different status. We have a search, we have the filter. And we would try to do end-to-end test, write end-to-end test with setting some of the status and seeing the result that statuses are basically changing. Okay, as I was pretty stressing up because it's my first tech meetup, I prepared some comment because I was sure that I will forget everything. So I will just copy paste some of them to the terminal level, and we could see the result. So first, Nx introduced some comments where we could, like this, where we could see all of the plugins on our workspace. For example, for this demo, I prepare 3 commands that we will run that look like this. We have a generate end-to-end, basically composing some big AI prompt from different sources into one. We have the verification end-to-end, which is good one to check if agent write like how it expected from some lint perspective, styles, and so on, with some additional variables that we could set it, but we'll move it to it soon. And one shot end-to-end, which means basically combining generate and verify, which is very helpful, for example, on pipeline level. So let's let's try to open first one. So what we are doing right now, we're writing Nx. G that stands for generate, generate end-to-end, and then we write with a variable story what we are trying to achieve. In today's demo, we're trying to achieve that supplier filter invoices by approved status. In the case of production level, we are trying to use the MCP with the test cases and basically providing there the value what we should, what our agent should do. So let's run it. This prompt, as we have a really small application, it is really fast. So just to not waste time, it is have like this. I will do. Oops. Yep. So it combines a big prompt that we will go soon on that. But before that, just to not waste time while agent would run this this whole prompt, I will just immediately go and write in Klub that hey buddy, I'll read it and follow it. And while it's running, I will show you quickly what this prompt about. So in the beginning, combining some general thesis, what it's about, as the user story context of what we are trying to achieve. It is a playwright which open and do testing stuff. Test case, as we didn't provide what specifically we wanted to achieve, our prompt combined basically with the steps what he's trying to do. Next, we haven't provided the direct link to feature documentation, for example, which what I were talking previously, but I can show you quickly. It's not on apps, it's on lips, invoicing, and it should be here, README file. And here combining what this feature about, main responsibility, some DOM anchors, or it could be some feature ID that you set it up. So basically you are preparing this documentation on your own and have how much effort you put into it is how much you will get into the result. Okay, while it's still generating, not this one. Yeah, we have a feature documentation. As we didn't provide the direct path to it, based on the context of Nx, agent just find out which library it is and what README file it has. DOM anchors, some reference spec, for example. As we have already, I wrote some example of end-to-end test. I show him what is our code style. It is especially important when you have a bigger project with a bigger amount of tests. It is a good way to show him what specifically we expect from him. Some general style guidelines, rules, and some phases, for example, what we expect from him to do. For example, explore the app via MCP and check if it's work what you wrote. Write the file itself, how to check it. Iterate on failure. For example, I added this phase just for this demo to check if it fails. Klub will try to iterate it 3 times and to see if he can make some impact. I didn't do it and show you like with one shot because in my opinion, in the end, humans should be in the end of the loop and verify stuff because with a bigger feature, you could just lose some context and it would be very hard to dive deep and fix something if you allow everything to write for the agent. And some output requirements, for example, what we expect with the verification loop. Yes, so agent finished with the writing test. I haven't mentioned before, I put some visual face text just to see how it stands from perspective of the phases and so on, just so we could debug easily when something goes wrongly. So in the end, agent basically generate us end-to-end test, and we could test it with a different command. Engine verify. I ran the Playwright, basically framework for end-to-end test, and what it allows us to see, it allows us to see which test cases we have, allow us to run it, and basically see the result of it, where we can just manually go one by one and see the result. So for example, as our goal was to make sure that filter is working by applying the approved status, we could just go slowly one by one and even checking if it do as we expect. So we have here wait for selector, basically like this one, filter select. We select all status. After it here is not displaying, but it depends on the selector, I guess. We select the first one. Here we could see that status is changed to approved. So basically assume that it's working. Additionally, it's checking if we filter out only the approved statuses. So basically, we assume that right now it is finished his job successfully. In a production level, quite often you need still to do some extra stuff because feature is more complicated, and sometimes you need to step in and do some manual coding to write it. But what I want to show you next, it is, let's say we broke something. Let's say we have here approved status. We will have approved 2. Just to broke this selector, after we run it, end-to-end test should fail. Basically, right now here it tries to access this selector, but after trying for minutes, I guess, it will stop and break the error that we cannot access it. We cannot find the approved 2. What we can do here, from perspective of the generator CLI command, we can step in manually and see what is the problem, or we can do some verification layer, like verify end-to-end command, which I prepare, with some additional property which called heal. After I run it, I will show you more practically how these generators work out, because this will take some time. Just for the demo presentation, I will put this to the stage that we see then the results that agent make it successfully completed. Because right now agent will take a look, will try to run the playwright, then we'll spawn some code agent, and we'll try to fix it, and then do verification layer again. So now a bit about the project. This project is written on approach which is called Angular domain-driven design, something like that, which means that Nx have application have some shared library, and library written in some way where we have the container components, we have the presentation component or DOM component, domain, and data access. For reason of this meeting, it is like not important. What's interested for us, it is the generator, how they look like. On Nx, they have a special folder, tools, workspace plugin, where you could put a lot of different plugins for that, the generators. First important file entry point, it is the generators JSON, where we put list of our generators, where we defined where it's located, and basically some of the description. Next, we can go to one of them and see how they look more closely. First, it is a schema JSON where we defined how this generator should behave and what input it should expect. For example, in this, for this generator, we have the story, which could be plain, simple text, what we are trying to achieve, or, for example, some reference to file where our story and how it should behave. We have a feature library pass. If there will be not, Nx will try to, basically agent and Nx will try to figure this out on their own, but better, of course, to write the direct pass. A reference spec for playwright, because some of the test cases could have some specific example for that. And verify. Basically, after composing the prompt, run static verification, predict this, the spec pass if it exists, and basically make sure that it is working, like from the lint perspective and so on. Next, we have, just to check if how it's going. Okay, it's still spawning. Next, we have a pretty big file, which I was just too lazy to make it feel good. So we'll just go briefly on that. Because what's important here, it is that we passing to our generator tree parameter, which is variable object that Nx give us about the project structure. So, so agent don't guess. It have clear boundaries where your feature is, how it's communicate with other, and basically allow speed up stuff and do faster thing under hood. We have some if condition based on some variables that we put it, some text on the terminals to see and debug stuff. And we have some shared methods which are reused on one shot and verify. What it has defined the phases and basically how he reached some context, how he reached Nx properties, and yeah. We have a result. I will show from the beginning where I wrote this comment. We have verify with the heal option. So we have the phase 1 verification, playwright runtime verification. It sees that something is wrong. It's find where it exactly. He tries to retry because sometimes it could be like in production level with the endpoints and some real-time stuff. Then he said like to tries 3 times and said that verification failed, and he starts spawning some cloud agents which tries to check based on the documentation, feature documentation from the code perspective, and try to basically resolve it. And we could see that in the end, after he applied some changes, we have success on that. If we check on the code level, on the changes, he find what was broken and basically changed from the approved to approved, which basically benefit and what we basically says what we expected. For other comment, I was planned to show more like a one-shot generator where it combine everything, but I think it is enough, and I will just leave it to you. If you wanted to try, I will share this GitHub repository and you could check it on your own. So, slideshow. So benefits. First, what we make here is that we make LLM less guess. The main problem with LLMs and agents that we cannot find, we cannot be sure that the ending result will be immediately done. And our job as engineers to make sure that by bringing some principle or agentic experience, to be sure that agent know how to access data, what to do with that, and yeah. Next is decrease of mental overload. Basically, it's my favorite one because end-to-end reduce your mental ability, because every day we have only a certain amount of decisions that we can make, and after a certain point we just cannot make quality decision. And by bringing some agents and LLMs, and here with the Nx some CLI common, we could decrease it by a lot and make sure that we have more time to make more quality solution in the end for other stuff. And increase team productivity. Some part of it we already integrated in our team. Some part I'm still pushing on the organization level. But what I see is that team productivity is speeded up. Like we have a pretty good result with 70–80%, and sometimes even more for new test cases. For older test cases, it's not always so beneficial. It needs better examples and better verification layer, but still, yeah. So where it leaves us, sum up. Agents here to stay. Agents are everywhere, but we shouldn't be afraid of that, because our job as engineers was never about some coding stuff and so on. It was about solving problems. And right now we have a new variable where we make sure that agents know how to do their stuff. So thank you, slide. Thank you for organization. Kudos to Adrian that was helping me during the last few months and was mentoring me. Thank you a lot, Adrian. Some links where you can find me, some contact, some feedback form that I would ask you to scan and put some thoughts under it, because it was my first presentation on English for Tech Meetup, and would be gladly appreciate for any feedback. Yeah, thank you very much.
And do you have maybe some questions before he jump out of the stage? If not, you can also talk with him when you order the next coffee for you. So again, huge applause for the first presentation. So now we have 15 minutes break. You can order another coffee. Meanwhile, the team leads can prepare themselves on the stage. And before they start, please can we gather to make a group picture, so I will not lose budget for the next meetup. So we need to make some pictures that we are in a decent group of people.
Meetup. Hello. I want to say that this is my first English tech talk, so I would appreciate some support of you. And what we're gonna tell, it's not just what we've done, but also about some pain, about some problems that we have been faced to, and some stuff we're gonna talk. It's some constraints in team, universal architecture template, tech core, with focusing on fixing hallucination, and Nx monorepo reality in our application, how we have used and what we have got from it. So I also have the question, how many of you guys was attended at any hackathon? Please raise your hand. Yeah, I see a lot of us. A lot of us. And do we have any non-tech specialist? Can you raise your hand? Okay, yeah, we have one. And all other tech, yes? Oh, okay, you too. And what we came to. I came to the hackathon just by myself, despite I was wanted to bring my team, but it was really hard to find anyone who really spend the whole week on education, on this kind of challenge to have this growth. So also first problem I have faced too, that my experience lies on Laravel, PHP, Vue, on but RAG systems, AI pipeline, that was really helpful for me. And the reality, the stack of Angular, Nest, Nx was totally out of my experience, and was kind of challenge and really cognitive load that brings some benefits afterwards. And I was responsible for the problem statement to understand the problem, to build the persona of our user, and to build the user story map. Jakub was responsible for implemented core logic to make everything works together, front end with back end, using DTO. It's a really important thing that connect everything and allow you to have develop system just by a part. When you have DTO that you can build even before you write the single line of code. DTO where you write what data you need, what really important. Despite it was hackathon, it was just 6 hours, but really powerful solution approach from enterprise. And as me, Jakub was totally new in this stack, Nx, Nest. However, we succeed on it. And the third, but not the least member of our team, it's Pavel. He was responsible for BPMN, for UI UX and deployment. And I have another question. How many of you think that hackathon it's only for senior specialists, or you think that it's for everybody? Who thinks it's no matter, you senior or June or middle?
Sometimes it can be also for non-code specialists.
Yeah, even that. And Pavel, a really good example because he wasn't have commercial experience. He was have only solid knowledge from the university. Was having knowledge like in every field. So he was really helpful for us to fill these gaps. And help us proceed. So as we can see that it's not really a matter to be senior to proceed. And anyway, we doesn't have experience in Nx, in Nest, so it's like really average for everybody. And another problem I faced with that I was try to save some time on hackathon. I was trying to build my team and was pre-built repo to not waste time on it. And reality shows that no, we're not gonna have this Laravel technology, but Angular, Nest, Nx. So from the very first day, I have dropped this repo, this idea, and we came to the hackathon, to workshops to learn about it. Another problem was the language barrier. Anyway, I not speak Polish. It's not my language, but I was able to solve it. And another question: how many of you know what is Notebook LM? Raise your hands. Yes, thanks. And how many of you use it like daily? And it was really a great problem to solve with it, to record the workshops, the lecture, to transcript it into text, have some good structure of it, and create a podcast in English that I can understand, that I can work with. And about the hackathon itself, about workshop days, from 1st to 5, we was able to get this knowledge that we have to build the application on hackathon, and it wasn't just random coding stuff that you came and you code, but it was really structured day by day lessons, workshops. On the first day, we got understanding of problem statement canvas. You have to identify your user persona and have to build user story map with releases, have to cut off things that could be over-engineering for the first release, to build MVP, to start it, to make it alive as soon as possible. On the second day, we have learned about UI, UX, about how it's really important to make accessibility, because we wanna that everybody have access to our product, to our system. On the third day, we have learned about front end, about Angular, this one-way developing approach that not allow you to write code as you want. So it's some restriction, limitation that allows you build more constrained system that's way easier for AI, LLM engines to work with, to understand, to predict how it works, how to implement a new feature to that. On the day 4, we meet with Nest.js architecture, with evals, with AI evolution path, like how it was, if you remember the ChatGPT when it released, we was using it just to generate like blob sorting function, but now we use it like co-work, not only just auto-completion code, but there was some concept like AI team, agent team, when you have agent that really good in specific things like quality assurance, development, and they work together to build, to make a feature. And really cool thing for me was the concept of dark factory, where you don't really need to know to understand what is going on under the hood. The whole team, the project manager, the some investigation agents guys, and other team, and it decide what to do just without you. You even could not have access to the code. It writes CI/CD by itself, solve it, this problem, but it gonna cost really a lot of tokens for you. And on the day 5, we have learned about MCP servers, about trees methodology that we have used in our application. On the day number 6, to solve, to provide solution for the specialist, and about Google Cloud deployment. So as you can see that during these only 5 days, we got everything that we need to actually build the solution to work, and it does not require the expertise in everything from the very beginning, that you can learn and get something new from it. I personally really like the first day because I was missing it in my experience of developing, and really love this concept of dark factory and trees methodology. On the first day, we was building our user story map with user persona, what it have to be, and at this point, despite we know that we have to do MVP, minimal value product, as fast as possible on the first release, we was in the trap of corporate enterprise approaches, that we started planning to integrate registration, some integration with other services that totally not required, because on the first release, you need only JSON, some DTO, some mocks, and nothing else. So it was really good exercise before hackathon starts to understand what really matter and what no. Our first application that we was trying, it was really simple stuff from B2C, sleep advisor agent that gonna check your sleep score from your wearables, check your calendar, what event do you have, and provide some recommendation how to manage it. Not just sleep earlier, but some life hacks like biohacker. So, and what we have learned before on this all days, we was able to apply for this really simple stuff to understandable B2C, and not only to this, but to our problem that we was solving, or maybe not solving the problem, but making the system that can solve the problem, the engine for this. And it's the really value of these approaches that what we have got from these workshops is that we can apply to any idea, to some small tracker on your phone, small application that use just everybody, and this engineer stuff that allows to understand how to solve really engineering problems. And I'm gonna give the time to Jakub, and on the day number 6, as I mentioned, I was responsible for user story mapping, and our persona was Elena. She senior R&D specialist that she really exhausted of reading, of having this challenge with a lot of information documentations to bring some ideas, solution for oil spills problem, and the traditional chats, it wasn't good. It's really bad for engineering problems, tasks, because it's how hallucination, it's how black box magic, but she was needed reasoning problem solving engine. So Jakub,
thank you. I like to say that the hackathons are generally about creating solutions and not letting it becoming your personality, because there's 100% chance that you will create like hundreds of ideas, but you need to cut like 99% of them. And as you might see in your part, we already did 2 pivots and didn't even start the coding. So it's, and I will spoil a little bit, it's not even the end of that. So to be on the same page, to ensure it, I will do a quick demo, show the application, and then we will dive a little bit into the code, into our solutions. But first I want to do it so everybody can see like what was actually the case. So yes, this is our really super accessible interface, as you might see on all of the agents. And the plan is simple. So actually, we can copy-paste the exact problem that we were facing during the hackathon. So the problem was about the oil rigs and how we want to ensure that it will be safely handled. As you can see, first of all, there is a diagram which shows the whole process that we have. On a high level, we are extracting what's the root of the user information, and then just for the presentation purposes and also for the hackathon purposes, we are doing internal loop, 5-wise loop. So the agent asks itself 5 whys and answer it. Yeah, I know that it's a little bit not ready, like a little bit not ready for the production, because on the final version the user would answer those questions. So just to get to the root of the problem, and then our agents are analyzing it. I will tell about it later. And this is the result. So in the result, you can see a table with few approaches. So we have 5 whys, 4 candidates, and the trees method, 4 candidates, and the trees, 3 candidates. In general, it produces us an axis, which I will also describe later, and some explanations about the solutions for our problem. At the end, there's always a user, so it's only an advice or like a proposition for the user, and the user is choosing it by himself. So let's go back to the presentation, I believe. I will just quickly jump out of it. And yes, and simple, just few words about those methodologies, because we were obligated to use multiple methodologies. And what we did is we combined 5 whys, which is really simple, but I would say it's really simple to implement, but hard to execute. I would call it like that. Why? Exactly, why? Because you are only asking why 5 times, actually. So the algorithm is really simple, but execution can be more difficult because we are going deeper and deeper to the root of our problem. And at the end, the goal of this methodology is to get the root. So,
why is the on the phone?
because your is 5th. And yes, so those 5 or 4 whys, it's based on our problem. So the symptom is that the oil escapes rapidly after a breach, yeah? And asking those questions again and again and again, you are actually causing what is causing this error. So really simple, but sometimes hard to execute, to dive into it. And the other methodology is trees. Trees treats the problem better, because 5 whys tells you where is the problem, and trees actually tells you how you can fix it. And trees is more about some trade-offs. I would say trade-offs, because usually when you have a problem, for example, you need some material, or for example, a ship. Maybe let's take a ship. Let's stay in a topic. So you have a ship and you want it to be more stable, to be more, to have a better materials, for example, to be more prone to some emergencies. And usually the first thing that comes to your mind is to use more stable materials, more materials which are difficult to break, but it comes with some trade-offs. You have to probably increase the weight. And the trees actually treats this problem, so it takes the parameters, for example, weight or speed or velocity, combines it, and then translates it to the matrix, because a lot of the problems that we are currently have, they were solved. So we don't want to invent the wheel again. And it actually provides you some example solution that you might use and to fix your problem. So actually, at the beginning of the hackathon, I was talking about some pivots and getting rid and cutting your ideas. So at the hackathon, we at the beginning thought that we want to introduce 2 pipelines, and user can select, I can solve my problem with 5 whys agent, or use the trees method because I believe this is better for me. But actually, in the middle of the hackathon, so it was quite far in the hackathon, I would say, yeah. One of the leaders came in and like stopped our fun, which we had, and we need to use some more tokens to really reconstruct our system and combine the system. Yeah, that was exactly what happened in the middle of the hackathon. We need to figure out how to combine those methodologies, because as I said, the 5 whys tells you what is the root of the problem, and the trees tells you which parameters you need to change to solve this problem. So they are actually treating different metrics. So we came to an idea, actually quite fast, so you have to do it on hackathon, but to implement a coordinate system. And we treated x-axis, that's axis, thank you. So as a root cause targeting, so we are measuring how we are close to the target, and on a y-axis, we are measuring what is the quality of this solution, and we need to find like the sweet spot for us. So if we won't do it, we actually also had to invent some formula for that. Because as you can see, if we will choose the right cause, but we will have weak solution, I don't know if it helps us. Maybe it will break some more things. And if we will have a strong solution, but to the wrong case, so actually, are we even solving our problem? Because I don't think so. So we invented this axis, and we did some calculations. It's a prototype calculation. It's not something that we are really deep research on, and like we have some documentation about this, but it was good enough, at least for those presentation purposes, and really to check the idea. So we are providing the 5 while loops which you saw on the demo. The 5 while loops checks each answer, and we are actually implementing something like LLM as a judge. So we have some conditions that I will show in a moment. We will have some conditions that LLM is evaluating the response out of y, and is telling in a scale of 1 to 5 how deeply is the answer to the root cause, of the problem. So we are getting this, and also we are calling the MCP, which was mentioned on the previous presentation. So I am happy that I don't have to translate it. So we are calling also the MCP from the trees. We are giving the parameters which we want to change or improve, and the trees MCP gives us the possible solutions. And after that, we are combining it. We are combining it to some measure that the 5 whys root cause agent connects with these trees, and the trees is basing on this root cause. And it wouldn't be like that easy, I would say, because we also, for the hackathon proposals, give some more filters that, for example, we wanted to focus on the solutions that we can implement immediately. So we also do some flags which are checked during the workflow, and that this must be buildable within the 48 hours. I know that when it comes to this oil rig scenario, it's kind of difficult to build something in 48 hours, but when it comes to software in nowadays, then it's much better. And at the end, we want to remove totally the dominate candidates by the Pareto filter. And after that, we have final selection, which actually can be kind of tricky, because the system can tell you that there's no solution, no good solution, especially that you can see in this slide. We tried to use Gemini 2.5 Flash, so really old and old, like few months, I believe, for like model. So, but in our terms, it's old model. But we wanted to use this because we believe that when you have a good harness, then you don't need to use like frontier models, and you can save a lot of costs. Yeah, going back to it, we run our scenario, and it occurred that there's no clear winner. We have few examples of the solutions that we may implement, but there is no clear winner. They are treating the good cause, so we get to the source root of the problem, but the quality of those solutions is kind of not satisfying, at least. And it's also good because it doesn't tell you that, okay, that's perfect, that doesn't behave like a salesman. So yeah, my solution is the best, use this, and you will be happy anyway. And then another ship is going down. No, the system tells you that, okay, not yet, I didn't figure out the solution, but this one is the closest to what you actually want to achieve. And oil rig scenario is kind of far away from us, but we checked it also, did some evaluation steps on really simple ideas that, for example, I want to extract a pattern which exists in the text block and happened a few times. And that's for the developers, it sounds like, okay, I will use regex. And actually, there was a formal pattern definition with regular expressions as a proposed solution. And as you can see, it's hitting the recalls 100%. But why the quality is so low? Because this only a sentence, this only one sentence, and there is actually no additional context where this text block exists. Is it something that user is writing and then want to analyze? Does the user want to define some regular expressions? So there is no context. That's why the cause is hit, but the quality is so low. So what the important lesson that comes from this scenario is that we always need to add more context. And I believe if you are playing with LLMs, you've heard it a lot of times for the past years. Yes, and I will also show you a really simple example that these two were really technical. But I came to an idea that I want to check, I would say, like a daily problem. And I asked him, it's not visible, but I asked him how to eat kremówka without, no, because don't break it. But how to eat kremówka without making a mess. Because like when... Did you read my propositions? Yes, so as you can see, some examples which are they are almost like really highly hitting the problem. Almost everything is hitting like 100% or 80%. So ensure that kremówka is throttle chilled just to above freezing temperature before serving. That's kind of actually great idea, yeah? Or pre-cut kremówka into smaller individual squares. That's something that fix a little bit. Yes, so you can actually ask this model a lot of questions. I wouldn't know for now, or maybe I would need to think about it more, how to make those good evaluations for that kind of questions. But yeah, just to show you that really a lot of not so technical problems also can be solved. Yeah, and this is an Nx meetup, so also what we would like to do is mention more Nx and how we use that, and how I think it's a really good setup on the hackathons. Because you have a lot of templates, actually. You can build up the whole structure, the whole repository easily from the scratch. You don't have to prepare up front. So when you don't have a time, you want to save the time for like on anything. So setting up the repository based on the templates is a really good idea. And we kind of have one problem, like, again, hackathon is all about the problems. So I was trying to create a workspace out of the Nest.js template. Yeah, it was a part of our program, so I wanted, okay, let's do it. And what happened is this one. And I was like, okay, it's getting better. And what happened is, like, on the day of the hackathon, we faced that the Nest.js template disappeared from the GitHub. But so, yeah, we were not able to predict this. But what's also, I think, good in Nx, that you don't have to have those templates. Because when you are creating an empty workspace, you can add most of the well-known solutions, libraries, or frameworks directly. So we managed it. And if you are curious, so this exists, at least it was added on 14th of July. So you can create the Nest.js template application from it. And now a little bit about the architectural pains, which happens also with the Nx, and how Nx helps us in the process.
Although we was really struggling with Nx, with Nest.js, as you can see, this 4.4 problem, it actually provides us some value, and for me it was really hitting in my heart this Nx affected and strict model boundaries. What is it? Strict model boundaries allow you to make up some restriction of how you're gonna import different parts of your code base, some plugin, some module, how they have to be connected. And Nx affected this stuff that I was facing up during developing, making system on Laravel with PHP. I have the question, how many of you hate this CI/CD testing when you have to go wait like 10 minutes or sometimes even really more until it finish, when you just make really a little, really a little fix.
We used to have 3 hours pipeline.
3 hours pipeline. It's crazy.
It's a good time to drink coffee.
And I was having crazy just from like 2 minutes, and when it have 10 minutes and more, I was came up with my solution. I called it Smart Test, when I have some configuration of what classes have to call the tests, and it's halfway automated. It's also required me to generate some script that's gonna check if everything in the config So I was able to connect these pipelines, CI/CD testing for dev branch, but still held the wall test for main or stage branch to be sure that everything works. But at the same time, how really this fast testing really manageable by hands. But Nx has this affected approach out of the box when you can use the affected flag to run every script like tests only to those modules, codes that have been affected, changed. And it's really cool. From these things, I got my satisfaction, despite we were struggling with that. And Jakub gonna tell how we use it on hackathon in our project.
Yes. So actually, what we did is generating the workspace, generating the applications, and doing some standard project targets and application layout. So the whole setup. We also used Nx Affected to speed up, as you know, when you are using the LLMs, the harnesses, Cloud Code, Codex, and so on. And you have at the end some hook that runs lintering or runs the test. You don't have to scan the whole repository. So it really helps with working with the LLMs. What we did partially is handling those boundary rules, caching and CI integration. We actually didn't need it. It was a hackathon. It was like a 7-hour project, so we don't have to prepare for 5 years of maintenance, at least at this point. And we didn't really use the Nx Graph shared component libraries or multi-project orchestration. As I said, we don't need it. And just a quick look at the end, I promised a short code browsing. So we were talking a lot about the setup for the hackathon, and what I find, if you would like to join another hackathon and you will use some agents, is a Google ADK, which is Agentic Development Kit, and it allows you to really simple create the agents. As you can see, so we are defining some prompts, and defining an agent, it's actually creating a constant. So you are creating an object like a loop agent, LLM agent, or at the end sequential agent if you are into the workflow and you don't want like fully orchestration and fully like autonomous agents. So that's really good idea. And also what was kind of interesting for me, because I haven't used it so much before, is those makefiles. So these makefiles, it's like you are actually creating some scripts and saving it as a command, and everybody can use it as they want. So from the code perspective, it looks like this. I really suggest, if you are interested in to browse into those ADK agents, I find it really useful for small projects. I personally, I'm not into that kind of solution when you have some productions, because for me, I want to have some more control over it. But for like those hackathons, that's really fantastic, and probably for some production use cases also. And yeah, that's from the code would be all. And we would like to leave you with one message. Go to the hackathon. It's kind of a really good experience, because your mind is like blowing, your brain is blowing, and you can build something in 8 hours that you wouldn't expect you can do in a few weeks. And yeah, thank you very much.
Huge applause.
And if we can have some questions, some answers from the audience. If not, we can also go to the couloirs and then speak about it. And yeah, that's all.
So this time we are not making any break because we are going short on time. So I invite Przemek so we make a picture together, and then Przemek can jump on the stage. So I would like to introduce Przemysław with our last talk. Huge applause.
Hi, hello everyone. So before I start, I want to ask you if you ever had a situation where you thought, oh, okay, God, I wish a technology like something existed, a technology that does something existed. Maybe someday the technology that allows me something will exist. And then it turns out it was all the time here and just right under your nose. And that's really the case I had with Nx. So about my adventure with Nx and how it started and how I even came over and stumbled upon the Nx. First of all, it started like this. God, I love working as an architect, and I hoped that my investor won't have any weird idea that will force me to hours and hours of the work. Trust me, the investors, when it comes, for example, to the one-family houses, they dream about it all the time, and they have the craziest ideas. Okay, I loved working as an architect until the phone rang, and my investor told me something like this, okay? Yeah, I want the spiral staircase. I want the staircase that no one ever has. Okay. God, I hate working as an architect. Wish I was in my basement vibe coding and I want to go to IT. Why? Why was it such a big pain for me? First, I started to look for the ready models from the repositories of the 3D models, such as Sketchfab. Here I had some game assets, totally useless for my architecture projects. Then I went to the 3D warehouse, and it was even worse. Okay, so I was totally hopeless. And this is one of the examples of the ready models from the 3D warehouse, and this is something I was looking for, kind of something like this about. Okay, so my possibilities were spend 7 to 10 hours of manual modeling and remodel the needs of my client, and trust me, every single of these lines, every single of these elements should be modeled manually using very simple tools. Of course, I had an alternative. I could buy Autodesk Revit. This is the designed to be architectural tool, the BIM tool, and it would reduce my effort because Revit has got tools for generating the spiral stairs, but still it would be 2 to 3 hours of difficult manual labor. Oftentimes, the labor just for the client, for the investor to say, no, I don't like it at all, please change it a bit, okay? And a bit is another hours and hours and hours, okay? So, as you can see, as you can see, I am working as an architect, and I am an architect from my education, and I decided to become not only the physical architect, the building architect, construction architect, but the architect of the software as well. So I decided to let AI take my job, okay? Generate a 3D model of stairs, make no mistakes. Always make no mistakes, as Claude makes no mistakes if you do this.
Please do not hallucinate. I love your AI.
Yeah, and never hallucinate, yeah, and good morning and good afternoon, good night. Have you ever heard that when Claude Code had a security breach, it turned out that Anthropic collects data who was nice to Claude and who was not nice. No one knows where it goes, no one knows why, but they collect the data, so please be nice to Claude. Okay, so my Claude started confabulating, elucidating, channeling, shimmying, etc., etc. And it didn't turn out pretty well. Okay, this is the actual photo of the single one-shot prompt. it wasn't Fable, okay? It wasn't Fable. I know I put Fable in the screenshot. It wasn't Fable. But I started iterating. And iteration by iteration, it got better and better and better. And I started adding some components. I've started adding some rules. I started adding some skills. And my stairs started to become better and better. But I still wasn't here. And no prompt in classical model harness could satisfy my needs. Okay, my needs maybe, but not my clients' needs, not my investors' needs. So now I came to the conclusion that there is a time for a bit bigger guns. I took out the Google Anti-Gravity. Google Anti-Gravity is my favorite IDE. Have you ever worked in Google Anti-Gravity? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. If not, I recommend it, and I think everyone should try it. Anti-Gravity is nothing else but Visual Studio Code that got tuned by Google, and Google added some agents into Anti-Gravity, and not only Gemini agents. This is probably the only place where you can get Opus for free. So Claude Opus is one of the standard agents in Anti-Gravity. Of course, I've rigged my Anti-Gravity with the Claude Code extension, so I could have some more tokens to burn. And then I started architecting. I found out that the prompt by prompt approach is not working. Because before I got every single element, every single piece of my stairs on the place, and my tool was losing context, my Claude was starting to get lost. Of course, every single 3D geometry. Have you ever tried coding the 3D geometry? Raise your hand. No? Okay, so I can assure you, this is one of the most hellish thing to code, because you have so much things to control. And coding the geometry and parameterizing geometry feels kind of like explaining the shape, the geometry to someone that is blind. And you should be as precise as possible. And beside of this, you have normals, you have textures, you have lots of parameters. So we needed a good control panel. I used some of the standard solutions, some standard libraries. I needed some memory and configuration, so I used Zustand. Then I needed the geometry to become visible in my browser, so Free.js. And then my scene, and then my configurator. Okay, we will talk about this later. And then my libraries. Here I got some of my libraries with the version. Why I used those, that's later too. Then I thought, okay, I am doing a very advanced tool for architect, maybe for architects. Maybe I can make the life of my colleagues easier as we all struggle with the same problems. Yeah, the problem where your customer comes to you and asks you for something that doesn't exist, and you have to model it and assure that this is compliant with Polish construction law and norms, etc., etc. It's a great challenge. So I decided that I will add the layer of validation to my stair generation. And now it worked. This time it was a really nice and short development. Here I have the parameters of the geometry, so the sliders for height, angle, etc., etc. And I will show you the live demo. Here we have the stair generator. This is the 3D model that I can rotate, that I can see for any side. Here I have some presets, for example, for the wooden stairs, for example, for the concrete stairs, etc., etc., etc. Lots of variants, and every of these models is downloadable. So I can click Export GLB, and bam, it's downloading on my drive, and I can use it in any of my projects, okay? I can use it in SketchUp, I can use it in Revit, ArchiCAD. This is pretty universal. I can give it to Blender. And here I have my sliders, yeah? So total height, sweep angle. I have my radii, so outer radius, inner radius. And as you can see, if I come over any of the building regulation, I get a warning, okay? And he warns me, okay, your stairs are too tall and they will be illegal. Your stairs are too high, your stairs are too steep, for example. And every single parameter I am able to modify. So this is the tool that I needed. And this is the tool that I know that lots of architects need. And I felt, okay, Przemek, you are doing something important here. So get on your ass and go with the flow and start developing more and more and more. Now I stood before a problem. Okay. My client rang and my telephone rang and my client said, okay, I want a custom terrace and I want custom planters on my custom terrace. And this was the moment that I knew that I want to go and develop it, not only for my colleagues, but to save myself, as I would go crazy modeling this line by line and piece by piece and board by board. And how it became possible? This is when Nx came into action. If I had to build a new repository for any of my ideas, if I should code it by agents, and if I had to implement all of those libraries one by one, hand by hand, and every single time, I would never accomplish this. And now I could implement the Nx, which allowed me to reuse my code. I have created one generator with every single library, and those libraries were for lighting, those libraries were for the sliders, those were for building the geometry, for operating the camera, for the environment, etc., etc., etc. About 5,000 lines of code, and Nx allowed me to create a generator for every single new configurator. And now creating a configurator for a new object, for example, a configurator for planters, for terraces, it's about 500 lines of code. So now, instead of writing 5,000 lines of code every single time, instead of making the same mistakes again and again, I can write just 500 lines of code and get a new configurator. How does it work? One command, 3 files to modify. First file is telling me about the specific domain. Okay, so what is the specific about terrace? What is specific about the planter, etc., etc. Second, tells me about the scene and 3D scene, how to set the camera, which angles, etc., etc. And then I have my specific composition of the application. Babam, this is the terrace, one-shotted with one prompt. 500 lines of code, reuse of those elements from the stair generator, and I have the terrace configurator. Okay, and the Nx made it so easy and so quick to do this with my agents that I decided to do more and more and more. And as you can see here, this is my public repo, so you can use it, check it, and try this with me. Now I have stair generator, terrace generator, planter generator, but here are my generators that are they aren't waiting for development, they are waiting for my rate limits to reset. Okay, so they are programmed to go on just when I have my Fable back. I am planning on doing the ecosystem of the generators instead of thing that is going on currently, where architects have a limited base of models. Okay, so those are the models from 3D Warehouse, one of the biggest model repository on the internet, and we have some limited amount. And as you can see, more and more models are starting to move. What are those? Those are SketchUp dynamic models. The most valuable asset in the architect's life. This is the model that responds to your actions and dynamically changes. And I found out that, okay, now I've came up with the generator for the most valuable asset for architects. And this is my plan. I want to integrate my generators with the 3D warehouse and create the 3D models that will be totally configurable. And this is possible. I have started working on it, but it wouldn't be possible without the NX. So the deck generator is ready, and how NX keeps it in place. I have my plugins, applications, libraries. Okay, domain is not the library. Domain is just a name of the part of my interest. It keeps everything in place. It keeps my code separated and makes my generation of another generator or generation of another configurator easier and cheaper for me. So here I have a proof. Yeah, this is SketchUp, and here is a model created with my configurator. And here we have Blender, and this is my model in Blender. It works. So is this the future? Yes, this is the future of the architecture. This is the future of 3D modeling. Configuration is the future, and tools such as NX, tools that support agents in really computation-heavy and token-heavy operations such as 3D are crucial and are really, really priceless in the process of creating the future of 3D and architecture. Thank you very much. And do you have any questions for me?
I have a question.
Yeah.
You was mentioned that you waiting for Fable
Yeah.
tokens. Why you not using the easier model? Do you have enough harness for that context?
I can tell you that I told before that creating 3D with a AI agent is like teaching a blind person on how the shape looks. Yeah, and explaining this. Imagine you have the sculptor that is blind, yeah, and he's sculpting something, and you tell him left, 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 right, 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 left, left, right, right. Okay, and Fable is like a blind sculptor. Earlier models are like the sculptor that is blind and has some cognitive problems, and he doesn't even understand what you are talking to him. And Fable was a game changer. Okay, maybe it would be understatement it would be harming for GPT, not the 5.6 but 5.5. It became decent in 3D modeling, but Fable was a game changer, and now this is the explaining is pretty easy, and it's not wasting so much tokens on the failed attempts.
So you not really wanted to set up the harness. It's
I will use, I think, the models and constraints, the models I had before, to show him, hey, this is how I did this before, and now do this. and Nx will serve the components of my applications that are already ready. Yeah, the boilerplate code that is like 90% of the code already, and then they'll be able to do this, and it will do. Maybe some harness will appear that will explain 3D geometry to the weaker agents. I hope, maybe, and maybe. Maybe it's the fact that I'm not giving the eyes, but as I experienced here, those eyes aren't really useful because it's easier for agents, for example, to analyze the mesh in the text form. And when they analyze it in text form, the success rate is much higher than showing them the pictures. Hey, you did wrong here, 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 here. So the better eyes are the text representations. Yeah, of course.
You know, this is not a question, but it seems to me this is a pretty good slide because evolution shows always that configuration is the future, and it's nice.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, totally. I see this with every single part of my expertise and experience, and in every part of my job, the configuration starts to play the crucial role. For example, this is the terrace configurator. Yeah, one shot at one prompt. Here you have every single control over this. And this is what Nx serves as well. What should be controlled? And here we have amount of the boards, yeah, amount of the height of those boards. And here we have the, for example, planter configurator. It is the easiest, yet the most tricky one. As here, for example, what does it check? Because there are no regulations for the planters. And here, if you, for example, have a too small gap, it gives you the warning that your gap between boards is too small and it won't be able to do this in the physical world. Yeah, so those are the configurators and one-shotted configurators thanks to Nx. Okay, there was one question.
How did you start with Nx? What have you learned?
Adrian. Yeah, totally. Adrian is the best evangelist of Nx, as he explained this to me like I'm a baby, because I told him about my problem, yeah, and I told him that I have this problem, and he was the one that shined the light. Hey, here, maybe here, try this. Totally.
Speaking, I don't know, maybe if you use Angular or something like this, Nx, they have a very good documentation, and it shows you how to migrate your existing project, or you start a new one. So for Angular, they have pretty good documentation. That's all what I can say, but only for Angular.
Yeah, I have a question where you was showing the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering about not only model but some material. As I see, it doesn't provide any material information, like doesn't go on a fall or works.
Okay, I don't want to brag, but this is my opus magnum that I'm working on right now. I have created the fully browser native solver for the material calculation and material optimization. I tried really hard to connect the Chrome, so it uses the RTX card and the not integrated, but the separate graphics card. I managed to do this via VLM because I found some Chrome shaders for this. And yes, I plan to integrate those two with each other, as I have the fully working simulation environment. But this is the topic for totally another meetup and another prelection.
I'm so happy that you're doing it. You are welcome for NXConf at the end of the year.
Great.
We will find a place for you.
Wonderful.
Do we have like more questions for Przemek? or we are giving a huge applause. I have one more.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I have a question for the terrace. Does it automatically calculate the distance between the boards, like the supporting boards?
Yep. I will show you.
I mean, I assume that there are some regulations that the space between the boards have to be minimum, I don't know,
Here,
60
yeah.
centimeters or something.
I have the width of the board and I have the gap between the boards. Okay, and so now I can have more sparse boards, and it automatically assigns the number of the boards, thickness of the boards. Here I have the joint spacing.
I see that on
under
the right panel it shows some
yeah. So here baluster gap, and everything is parametrically written. And yeah, as I said, it's one shot.
Okay.
And does it count the materials needed to build it?
Yeah, it does. Yes, it does. I think here you have the amount of the boards and of the columns. Here you have the area, but every single dimension is held inside, and I can do the, for example, set of instructions and the shopping list for this configured terrace. And I think it would be a pretty nice next step. And another NX generator for my tooling. So thank you.
So thank you everyone for coming. All the great